Why do 538 people get to decide who your president is? Have you ever wondered why we use the Electoral College votes for choosing the president? Why don't we just count the votes and have the person with the most votes become the president? It all goes back to when they were first writing the Constitution in the 1780s. Back then, the framers of the Constitution didn't have a lot of faith in the average citizen to be able to pick the president by themselves. The average American wasn't very well educated or very well versed in politics and government. So the framers were concerned that if they were responsible for selecting a president for themselves, they would be too easily swayed by candidates who knew which emotional buttons to press. So they came up with what they thought was a brilliant idea. A separate group of knowledgeable people who would act on behalf of the voters to choose the president for them. Citizens didn't vote for president. They were to vote for electors, someone who they felt was smart enough to know who would be best suited to serve as the nation's chief executive. The chosen electors were then supposed to use their wise and independent judgment to choose a president on behalf of the citizens of their state. After the first couple of elections, that whole idea fell apart because political parties developed. The parties realized that they could increase their chances of making sure their preferred candidate got chosen by telling the Electoral College who the electors should vote for. The electors weren't using their wise and independent judgment anymore. They were just doing what the parties told them to do. Voters were now voting for the electors who had committed to vote for the candidate of their party. The Electoral College simply became a distorted translation of the popular vote. Most often, the outcome of the Electoral College matches the outcome of the national popular vote. But every once in a while, it doesn't, like what happened in 2000 and 2016. In both of those elections, the winner of the national popular vote was not the candidate who won the majority in the Electoral College. If you asked people 30 years ago if we should get rid of the Electoral College, most of them would tell you that we should simply get rid of it and go with the national popular vote. But since the election of 2000, more and more see it as a technicality that can work to their advantage of their own party. So now at least half of the American electorate see it as a good idea and don't want to change it. It would take a constitutional amendment to change it. And that's incredibly difficult to do, especially when half the electorate likes the things the way they are. So the Electoral College is here to stay for the foreseeable future. So tell me, are you for or against the Electoral College, and why? Tell me in the comments below.